2024 Honoring Black History special here on WBOY. Over the next half hour, join us as we celebrate Black history and highlight achievements in the present. Now, here's Jalen Lamp.
Hello and welcome into this year's Honoring Black History special here on WBOY. I'm Jalen Lamp. West Virginia has a rich history, and that includes the origins of Black History Month. Michaela Schindler introduces us to the man behind the idea that goes back nearly 100 years.
Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the father of Black history and founder of Negro History Week, which later became Black History Month. He was born in Virginia in 1875 to his parents who were emancipated slaves. According to the National Park Service, Woodson and his family moved to Huntington, West Virginia, where he got a job working in the New River Gorges, Nettleburg, and Kmore mines as a teenager. At the age of 20, he had saved enough money to attend Frederick Douglass High School, which was one of the few black high schools at the time.
After he left New River, he actually, went to Huntington to go to high school. He came back to New River and taught high school, actually, in a little community called Winona for about 3 years. And from there, he went on to, after teaching high school, he went on to get his college degree at Harvard. And he is reputedly the first African-American born of enslaved African Americans that went on to get a college degree.
After getting his education, he dedicated his life to preserving and informing the American public about Black history and culture. A National Historic Site located at Dr. Woodson's home in Washington, D.C., served as the headquarters of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. He established Negro History Week there in 1926, during the same month of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln's birthdays.
Negro History Week begins as the second week of February, and it's actually specifically intended to encourage Black students in what at this point in time would have been segregated schools to actually learn about the life and the history of Frederick Douglass.
His home was designated as a National Historic Landmark in 1976, where it still stands today as a National Historic Site and museum dedicated to telling the story of Woodson and his role in Black history. Reporting in Clarksburg, Michaela Schindler, 12 News.
Two Fairmont State professors are shining new light on a 158-year-old contract dispute that they believe was actually West Virginia's first civil rights case. Alfred Meade, a former slave who purchased his own freedom, sued former Virginia governor over money paid for the freedom of Meade's wife. 12 News' Eric Miner has the story.
In a classroom at Fairmont State, Dr. Raymond Alvarez and Dr. Gregory Hinton share the story of Alfred Meade, a freed slave who sued former Governor Joseph Johnson over the sum of $1,100.
He didn't get the money. Of course, he lost the case, but it had other ramifications for Alfred Meade.
But the law did not recognize that we, as citizens, had to be respected by anybody. And that was the culture, that was the law, and so forth. And so Mr. Meade, he has an injustice, but he's a black man.
Meade filed the suit at the Harrison County Courthouse in 1866. West Virginia had just granted black people the right to testify against white people, and with an all-white jury and defendant as prominent as Johnson, it was a long shot. Alvarez and Hinton believe Meade had the support and encouragement of Francis Pierpont, known as the father of West Virginia.
You had some good white people who were going to do the right thing regardless of race, religion, or creed. And that's how I saw him as a person.
National attention to the case raised Meade's profile, already known and respected as the porter and head waiter at Fairmont's Mountain City House. He would go on to help found the first school for black children in Fairmont. And when he died in 1907, his obituary called him one of the most highly respected and honored people in the state.
He was a very industrious man, very energetic, very moral and what have you, okay? And what amazes me, for that time period, for him to be able to have what he had in terms of resources, that's remarkable.
Before the Civil War, you could be a freedman and you could live in Fairmont and you could own property and you could prosper, So we had to be an inclusive society. Yes, there were slave owners here. This was all part of Virginia. Yes, there were slaves, but freedmen could live here and prosper.
Segregation was once the norm, and West Virginia is no exception. We'll take a look into the history of West Virginia's black education systems and what they're being used for today. That's next on our 12 News Honoring Black History special.
Are you ready for a bathroom remodel? If yours looks like this, and you want it to look like this before the holidays, call Dwayne at Eager Beaver Home Improvement. Eager Beaver is a local, dependable, licensed, and insured contractor.
Mike Elza, Director of Marketing and Public Education with Mountain Hospice.
I'm so fortunate to educate the communities on the benefits of Mountain Hospice. Working with our families and volunteers at community events is a very important part of what we do.
Our dedicated staff of nurses, aides, and volunteers serve our families with comfort and compassion. Give the gift of yourself. Volunteer.
We are all about living life to the fullest with families like yours and ours.
My name is Trisha, and the last time you saw me, I had lost 35 pounds on semaglutide. Now I'm down 55 pounds. The absolute team that they have here. It's a nurturing feeling. It's a great feeling of friendship and camaraderie to be able to come into Tuscan every week and know that they're behind you. Just do it. Semaglutide has changed my life, and I will be a fan of Tuscan Sun for life.
Mercedes-Benz Luxury is stylish, like the E-Class sedans or C-Class coupe. Mercedes-Benz Luxury is adventurous, like the GLC SUV or the iconic EQS. And at Mercedes-Benz of Morgantown, Mercedes-Benz Luxury is in your reach. Now, lease a new 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLA 250 for $539 a month. Only at Mercedes-Benz of Morgantown, part of the community for over 30 years.
Are you ready for a bathroom remodel? If yours looks like this, and you want it to look like this before the holidays, call Dwayne at Eager Beaver Home Improvement. Eager Beaver is a local, dependable, licensed, and insured contractor.
It's hard to believe that school segregation occurred within some people's current lifetimes, meaning black school buildings are still standing to this day. 12 News' Sam Gorski did some research on the history of black schools in North Central West Virginia and has more for us now on his findings.
It might be hard to believe that only 70 years ago, the school an American student went to depended more on their race than where they actually lived. In 1954, the Supreme Court case Brown v. Board of Education outlawed segregation in the United States. But what are those segregated school buildings being used for today? In Morgantown, what was previously known as the Second Ward Negro Elementary School has now been renovated into apartments. According to documents from the National Register of Historic Places, the school first opened in 1939 and taught about 30 students out of the 470 African American students in Monongalia County. By the time the school closed in 1954, it was only one of 5 black schools in the entire county. Just across the river in Westover was Monongalia High School, the only black high school in Monongalia County. The school was funded through the Works Progress Administration and was dedicated by Eleanor Roosevelt in 1938. A county administrator at the building said a few of its classrooms are still used today, and it also functions as a storage area for surplus school supplies. A plaque listing the school's principals is also on display just inside the building. Residents of Fairmont might recognize the Dunbar School, which unfortunately has fallen into severe disrepair. The school was built for 540 students in 1928 and was the predominant black school in the area for nearly 30 years. After the school's permanent closure in 2007, an organization called the Dunbar School Foundation became stewards of the building for several years. During that time, it became a hub for community and African American cultural events. In Clarksburg, you can find the Kelly Miller Community Center, which used to be known as Kelly Miller School. While it was still a school, it taught many students from surrounding counties, not just ones in Clarksburg. The school was named after Kelly Miller, an African-American educator and writer who was also the first black student to enroll at Johns Hopkins University. The Kelly Miller Community Center is still very active today and offers a variety of services to both kids and adults, including a fitness center, library, book club, and food pantry. These are just a few of the segregated schools that operated in West Virginia, but each of them have been able to continue to provide something to the community in the years since desegregation, whether it's a place to live, learn, or just meet new people. In Clarksburg, I'm Sam Gorski for 12 News.
It's the American dream, achieving personal and professional success. We'll share the story of one enslaved man who turned into a millionaire and how he influenced the city of Morgantown forever. Next on our 12 News Honoring Black History special.
Each prison President's Day, y'all, and we're celebrating at Mid-State Chevrolet. Right now, we've got brand new Chevy Silverados for as low as $41,999. Plus, we'll beat any other car dealership's price by $1,000 guaranteed. Or get financing rates as low as 2.9% at Mid-State Chevrolet. I-79, exit 67 in Flatwoods. Online now at midstatechevy.com. Chevy, together, let's drive.
He's one of the best runners in the world, and he's got a world championship in the 800 meters to prove it. Meet Donovan Brazier, one of our athletes who inspire. 2 years ago, injuries knocked him off track in his quest for glory. Now, Brazier's determined to bounce back in France and bring home the biggest honor of them all.
From this way forward, it's going to be like my comeback story.
Athletes Who Inspire, brought to you by the Miley Legal Group, Fairmont State University, and Little General.
CoolSculpting is the #1 non-invasive fat reduction treatment in the world. But now, it's even better with the brand new CoolSculpting Elite.
It's quicker, it gives better results, and I am so excited to be offering it to our clients.
It allows us to target, destroy, and eliminate fat cells naturally and permanently. For your convenience, you can reserve that consultation online or call the front desk of the Tuscan Sun Fontana Med Spa of your choice.
Tax time is a great time to buy at Chenoweth Ford. Get rates as low as 0% on a huge selection of brand new Fords like the Escape and Edge. Or get 1.9% financing for 72 months on America's best-selling truck, the Ford F-150, with plenty to choose from. Plus a great selection of local trades at Chenoweth Pre-Owned. Your tax refund will never go further at Chenoweth Ford and Chenoweth Pre-Owned, your #1 full-service dealer.
Most people strive to find some measure of financial success, but the road can be difficult. Jefferson Pan tells us the story of a remarkable local black man who made his way in this world when doing so was so far from the norm.
If you ever walked through WVU's campus, you may have passed Hunt Street without giving the name a second thought. Hunt Street is named after John Hunt, an African-American businessman who lived in the Morgantown area at the turn of the century. John Hunt was the son of a former slave who founded 23 businesses and was a millionaire. Hunt was born in 1871 in Uniontown, Pennsylvania, and moved to Morgantown at the age of 19. He started working as a cook, but quickly opened up his first restaurant on High Street. He would open up many more businesses. His most popular restaurant was Hunt's Oyster Parlor for Ladies on Walnut Street. I learned about Hunt's story from research done by Katie Saucer, a graduate of West Virginia University's Public History MA program.
In 1900, he opened up the first ice cream plant in the county. And he would use cut and stored ice from the Mon River to make his, they were called Hokey Pokey ice cream bars. Apparently they were very popular and he sold a lot of them. And another really remarkable thing about him is he shared his wealth and kind of his connections. So he helped a lot of Black people that he worked with and people who didn't have as much money get business licenses to open up their own restaurants.
Hunt lived with his wife Anna Davis and their 8 children on what is now Hunt Street on WVU's campus. His connection with WVU doesn't end there though. His granddaughter, Annette Chandler Broom, was the first African-American graduate of the university in 1957. Later in life, Hunt founded 3 resorts, the most famous of which was Indian Rocks Resort, which was later put on the National Register of Historic Places. In 1932, at the age of 61, John Hunt passed away at Indian Rocks.
So the thing that made me want to dive deeper into this story was the fact that there was nothing really written about it, and I couldn't find. And I just thought, if this man was a millionaire at the turn of the century, one of the only Black millionaires in the area, why is there nothing written about him?
John Hunt lived a full life that was intertwined with the history of the area, and yet it was almost forgotten. Maybe it takes the hard work of historians in a time like Black History Month to give the John Hunts of history their just due. Reporting for 12 News in Morgantown, I'm Jefferson Pan.
If you've been watching WBOY over the years, you may recognize a few of our Black Pioneer news personalities. Stay tuned because when we come back, we'll hear from 2 men who made history here. That's next on our 12 News Honoring Black History special.
Miley Legal Group would like to help you win groceries for a year. Go to WBOY.com, click on the contest page, and enter for a chance to win. One lucky winner will get a check for $4,800, and one local winner will receive a $250 Kroger gift card provided by your friends at the Miley Legal Group.
Living our best life here at the Village. Entertainment, fun excursions, gourmet dining, comfortable and modern apartments, and more. Senior living located in the heart of Morgantown.
Your favorite Lenten favorites are back at Menards, starting Ash Wednesday and every Friday through the Lenten season. And make plans now for Good Friday. Enjoy our delicious seafood scampi, fresh salad, and garlic bread, only $16.
It's that time of year again when things start to cool down. But here at Yes Chevy and Yes Ford, the deals are not. I'm Keith Powell, and I want to help you lower your current monthly payment, have a down payment that's just $99, and get a lifetime warranty with fast and easy credit approval. That's right, don't freeze up over huge down payments. You can ride away for just $99 today. Get pre-approved at KeithSaysYes.com. Only at Yes Chevy in Hurricane and Yes Ford in Huntington.
You've trusted Storm Tracker 12 weather for over 66 years. That's why 12 News is proud to introduce you to Chief Meteorologist Justin Kiefer. With 35 years of experience, you can count on Justin and the Storm Tracker 12 team to keep you safe.
Telling you when and where the storm is headed, giving you the time to prepare.
Chief Meteorologist Justin Kiefer, the area's most experienced meteorologist. 12 News, working for West Virginia.
We're experts in robotic surgery, and most importantly, we're experts in total patient care. High-tech solutions with a warm touch approach. Choose Mon Health. Feel the difference.
Representation is important within every race, but with West Virginia's lack of diversity, Black television personalities have been hard to come by. I reached out to some of WBOY's first Black news personalities, and whether you're a longtime viewer or a newer viewer, you'll probably recognize these faces. You may remember Ralph Gooch Gaston, former 12 News sports anchor and reporter from the early 2000s. Raised in Baltimore, Maryland, Gooch found an interest in sports reporting through reading the Baltimore Sun and watching the rise of ESPN. Gooch was brought to West Virginia by former teammate and lifelong best friend Chris Clark, the former sports director here at WBOY.
When I graduated, we were talking, he said, hey, we need a sports guy. Do you have a tape? And I had a tape that I'd done in grad school. I sent it, and he was like, hey, look, get in the car. Can you get here? And, oh, by the way, I told him your old college nickname, which was Gooch. And I was like, you really? You did? So I got in the car and showed up.
After moving to Clarksburg, Gooch says it wasn't the lack of diversity that shocked him, but instead.
The most interesting thing for me was always trying to figure out where I'd get my hair cut. Because you can't go to Supercuts. I actually did go to a Supercuts up in Fairmont. And so, yeah, this ain't going to work.
Gooch left WBOY in 2003 and worked out in Fresno, California for some time. Currently, Gooch lives in Hawaii, where he helps his wife's family manage a coffee farm. Though in our interview, Gooch mentioned that he would hold on to the memories made here in Clarksburg forever.
Good Tuesday afternoon, North Central West Virginia. A beautiful day outside.
A bit more recently, Khalil MacGyver became WBOY's first Black meteorologist. Khalil joined the Storm Tracker 12 team in November 2021. Graduate of State University of New York of Oswego, Khalil found a passion for meteorology in his early childhood, rooting from a fear of thunderstorms. The idea of moving from Rochester, New York to Clarksburg for his first meteorologist job may have been intimidating, but the reception from the viewers assured any apprehension.
The friendliness of the viewers, just the amount of people saying, Khalil, you've come such a long way. You've improved ever since your first time on air. And I always say that, thank you to, the viewers, because without them, we wouldn't be doing this.
Both Khalil and Gooch were unaware of being the first Black males in their position here at WBOY, though both agreed that they were glad to help represent something much bigger than themselves.
It's important to see someone who looks like you because it further opens the possibility of what your future could look like.
Reporting from Clarksburg, I'm Jalen Lamp with 12 News. Athletic achievements live on in the public's memory. Still to come, how a West Virginia University athlete made history on the basketball court. That's next on our 12 News Honoring Black History special.
If you or someone you know have been denied Social Security disability benefits, you may have options. There is so much more between the black and white writing that you can't see.
And Andrea Pecora and Associates, we're here for you.
It's President's Day, y'all, and we're celebrating at Mid-State Chevrolet. Right now, we've got brand new Chevy Silverados for as low as $41,999. Plus, we'll beat any other car dealership's price by $1,000 guaranteed. Or get financing rates as low as 2.9% at Mid-State Chevrolet. I-79, exit 67 in Flatwoods. Online now at midstatechevy.com. Chevy, together, let's drive.
My name is Trisha, and the last time you saw me, I had lost 35 pounds on semaglutide. Now I'm down 55 pounds. The absolute team that they have here. It's a nurturing feeling. It's a great feeling of friendship and camaraderie to be able to come into Tuscan every week and know that they're behind you. Just do it. Semaglutide has changed my life, and I will be a fan of Tuscan Sun for life.
Every hearing loss is super unique. The type of hearing loss you have dictates the hearing aid that you need. Hearing aids are not one size fits all. Here, you're going to get a full diagnostic evaluation. We are going to fit you properly. We also do something called real ear measures. Most offices don't do that, and they should, but you basically have this little tiny probe tube and you stick it in the ear, and then you put the hearing aid over top of it, and that little probe tube actually checks the sound pressure from the hearing aid. I was absolutely meant to be an audiologist. There's no question about it.
Have you or someone you know been denied Social Security disability benefits? Just because it's written in black and white doesn't mean it's over. Call our office and let us help.
And Andrea Pecora and Associates, we're here for you.
There have been many stellar black athletes who have competed at the college level at West Virginia University, one being Georgianne Wells. Her career on the hardwood, arguably one of the most legendary that North Central West Virginia has ever seen. 12 News' Nolan Porterfield has more.
Georgianne Wells enjoyed a historic and prolific career as a West Virginia University basketball player. Her accomplishments on the court earned her an induction into the WVU Sports Hall of Fame. And the shining moment of her career happened in this gymnasium on that basket.
Hailing from Columbus, Ohio, Georgianne Wells grew up in a family of 9 children. Wells found a love for basketball from a young age. She played on her high school team at Columbus Northland and went on to win the state basketball championship during her senior year. West Virginia University recognized her talent and recruited her heavily. Wells managed to secure 2 scholarships and took her talents to Morgantown.
During her freshman year, Wells averaged nearly 12 points per game. And during that time, she also established a goal for herself, to dunk during a live regulation game.
Using her 6'7" frame, Wells and her coaches worked after each practice. Wells dunked up to 20 times to get the correct form. Early during the 1984-85 season, Wells almost achieved her goal. Her dunk was canceled when one of her opponents fouled Wells' sister Marva just as Wells attempted her dunk. On December 21st, 1984, Wells went on to make history. Playing at Elkin's Randolph County Armory against the University of Charleston, Wells received a pass from point guard Lisa Ribble and achieved the first official dunk in a women's college basketball game. WVU went on to win the game, too. The national media was all over the historic achievement. The Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame featured Wells' accomplishment in a dedicated exhibit, and Wells was honored at the NCAA luncheon in New York. In addition to her historic slam dunk, Wells enjoyed a remarkable career for the WVU women's basketball team. She was a 4-year letter winner, scoring over 1,400 points and pulling down over 1,000 rebounds. Her 436 block shots is a program record. Her ties to WVU still last to this day. She is distant cousins with WVU wide receiver Rodney Gallagher III. After her college years, Wells toured with the Harlem Globetrotters. She also coached professionally in Japan, Spain, Italy, and France. Wells currently resides in her hometown of Columbus, Ohio. Reporting for 12 News, I'm Nolan Porterfield.
There's plenty of undeniable talent within the mountains of West Virginia. With so many successful people being native to our great state, one of those being a name that should sound pretty familiar to you. 12 News' Sam Gorski has a story for us yet again on the legend that is Johnny Johnson.
He's one of the most famous and influential black musicians to ever come out of West Virginia. The legacy of Fairmont native Johnny Johnson is still felt not just in Marion County, but by blues and rock and roll fans around the world, whether they know it or not. Johnson is considered one of the originators of rock and roll piano and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2001. However, you probably know him best for his work with Chuck Berry on songs like Johnny B. Good and Wee Wee Hours.
Hey, you never run around. He worked with Chuck Berry. It's huge for Fairmont to have an individual from here that actually contributed to the creation of the genre we now know as rock and roll.
For more than 20 years, Marion County has been holding its annual Johnny Johnson Festival at Palatine Park to honor the memory and achievements of Fairmont's most famous musician.
Johnny left his mark on, the jazz and the blues side, also being one of the fathers of rock and roll. We try to encapsulate all that. So we've touched on the jazz, the blues, contemporary rock and roll.
In 2004, Johnny came home to West Virginia to play in the very festival he inspired.
It's a great feeling to come back. I left here in 1941, and I always wanted to come back and bring my own band and everything. Fairmont was the first place I wanted to make my debut as a big band leader. So it's like a dream come true to come back home and entertain my people.
Less than a year later, Johnson passed away in April 2005, but not before playing in front of his hometown and leave behind a legacy that won't be forgotten anytime soon. Reporting from Fairmont, Sam Gorski, 12 News.
Katherine Johnson, born in White Sulphur Springs, is best known for her work in assisting NASA in the Apollo moon landing. Randy Moss enjoyed a 14-year NFL career that led him to being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2018. Three-time Grammy winner Bill Withers is best remembered for his hit songs Ain't No Sunshine, Lean on Me, and Just the Two of Us. TV personality and comedian Steve Harvey has hosted shows like Family Feud and The Steve Harvey Show for several decades. That concludes this year's Honoring Black History special here on WBOY. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll continue celebrating Black history in upcoming newscasts, and I'll be hosting the Black History Luncheon on the 24th of February at the Kelly Miller Community Center from noon until 3 if you're interested in coming out. See you soon.